Because sometimes he could just fucking keep going.
Yeah, that episode I did of your whole podcast was very long.
It was an hour and a half.
Huh.
In fact,
seemed longer.
I remember it was an hour 36.
It seemed a lot longer. Also, I was like sitting on like the most uncomfortable chair possible.
In his kitchen, yeah.
Yeah.
That clock exists because of the time Kelsey came on.
What happened?
We went for over 2 hours, and we talked almost not at all about what she does for a living.
She probably didn't even talk.
She talked a lot.
She got a word in?
Lots of them.
That dude overtook me. And that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Ugh.
Welcome to the Irrelevant and Illiterate Podcast. I'm Dead Balls, and this is my double scoop of Whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
And here we are. In the basement like the old fucking days. And we're supposed to be getting a fucking... Well, I guess it's still raining right now. We're supposed to be getting a fucking hurricane.
Nice. Yeah, it's named after my mother. Seriously, it's like...
Debbie.
Yeah. Oh, we do a thing called... Our friends do cool shit.
Right.
My buddies out of Virginia, Terror Cell, have some new material up.
I saw the reel that you posted.
Yeah, they're really good. I like them a lot.
Yeah, Terror Cell kind of rocks.
My old band did a split with them, and it was the last thing we did. And I remember hearing it later on, and it's like, all right, we got punked out on that because their shit was way cooler than ours.
Oh, their side of the split?
So, yeah.
Don't
check out their on Instagram is at Terror Cell Noise, and they got some new tracks up, so go check that shit out. It rules, they rule. If you like good, noisy, chaotic hardcore, it's right up your fucking alley.
Yeah,
really
I'm very picky about my chaotic shit.
Yeah,
and they do it just right.
It's not really your lane, so I understand.
It kind of is my lane, but I don't dive in often.
Yeah,
because sometimes it's too much.
It's a little too chaotic.
Yes, but something like a Today Is the Day or like a Converge or a
You did like Today Is the Day, didn't you?
Or Terror Cell, like that's perfectly done.
I think that was one of the few I brought you that you did like.
I loved it.
It's very good. I like it a lot.
Well, they're like a legacy band for good reason.
Very, very long time.
Yeah. And all the best bands reference them or are doing them, and they don't even realize it.
They're the reason Converge changed into what they changed into.
Yeah, I remember you said that when you assigned it to me.
And if you listen to Today's the Day and then start it like...
like petitioning or something?
I say like the Jane Doe era.
Jane Doe is when everything changed for that band.
And it's like, all right, this is right when they got off tour with Today's the Day, and then all of a sudden... more of the cleans came in and shit, and a lot more off the wall. But yeah, it's a good genre. I like it, but recently there hasn't been many doing it that have really blown my skirt up. But Terror Cell fucking rules, and everybody should check them out.
I think I think Converge hit their stride and kind of peaked at Jane Doe.
I think they hit their stride. I still like New Converge.
I like it, but I don't like it nearly as much.
I like that that they take chances. They don't settle on one formula and just milk it like a lot of bands do.
They do that.
Yeah.
While Jake Bannon is smart enough to start other bands to do really branched out shit.
But there's very few Converge records that sound like exactly like the record that came before it. And you really can't say that about a lot of bands. Especially
a band that's been a band that long.
Yeah. They don't phone it in, if that makes sense.
No, they never do.
They don't phone it in.
That's also another undeniable live band.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I can listen to them or I'll go see them anytime.
Oh, yeah.
But
absolutely.
Nobody can be like, that band sucks, and then see them and be like, they still suck.
Yeah. Like if you just listen to it recorded and you're like, this sucks. All right, fair enough. It's just not your lane. I get it.
Yeah.
But
I keep unlocking fart when I move around.
Sit still, you jittery freak.
I can't.
Jesus Christ. It's like having a toddler next to me. Ugh.
But people see Converge and they're like, okay, I get it. You have to.
There's never a poor reaction to them. live either.
No.
People are there losing their goddamn minds. Especially on the East Coast. I think the only band I ever seen that whose reaction gets close to what they get is All Else Failed.
Yeah, especially here.
In Pennsylvania, Delaware area, All Else Failed, you're going to see people just like fucking having seizures, just like bursting into flames, just like
Weeping.
It's nuts.
People,
it's nuts.
People weep.
Yeah. It's just like,
I weep for the future.
yeah. But you're Jesus Christ.
One of the best All Else Failed sets I saw was at a This Is Hardcore pre-show at Ortlieb's.
I think the best set I saw them play was at this fest that Bob from A Life Once Lost booked called OK Come On Kids Fest, which was the name of his booking company.
Pause.
That was his booking thing. And
No Diddy.
they covered Helmet that night.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they nailed it. And just like, it was weird. In this big gymnasium, the sound wasn't that great. But just like the reaction, their performance, it was just fucking nuts.
Yo, it's crazy.
It was a great, dude. Death Threat was extremely good that night. American Nightmare was fun to watch that day. There was a lot of good bands on that fucking thing.
It's crazy that it's crazy when you see a band be good in a bad sounding room.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that a couple times, but that's rare.
They played well. They sounded like shit just because sound there sucked.
Yeah,
but their performance was so good that you just kind of were like, I don't care. Like they played everything perfectly, but just how you couldn't really hear that well. But yeah, just like they were like, all right, fuck it. You know, we sound like shit, but we're gonna fucking just murder anyway.
What Helmet song did they cover?
Meantime.
Okay.
Yeah. They fucking nailed it too. I was like, this is great.
I think I've seen a small band do that, and I was like, what song was that? And somebody was like,
Rock
that's
Bottom
the Helmet song. Did they? That's funny.
They at least did the intro.
Oh, okay. I wish Rock Bottom covered more songs.
I listened to a cover of that song by Sepultura, or was it Soulfly? It was a Max Cavalera band. So I was like, all right, this could be really fucking cool. It really wasn't.
Oh.
It was just, all right, like, I get it. Like, if it's a note for note recreation of the song, you're like, all right, that's cool, right? But sometimes you don't just want a note for note cover. Like, make it so it sounds like, doesn't just sound like, what word am I looking for?
As Kels would say, put your stank on it.
Yeah. Like, have it be the original, but it's still, like, you can still tell it's also, like, a Soulfly song or whoever. Other bands have done that perfectly. It was just stale. There's no, like, and that's a fucking rager of a song. And it is somehow all the feeling was just sucked out of it. It was just sterile and just bland. I was like, God damn
that
it.
sucks.
This had potential to be so awesome.
I know, especially from him.
And also, it didn't sound right, because this is when he was, like, tuning to, like, X. And it's like, yeah, they're a down-tuned band, but it's like, they're not down-tuned to X like this. And it just kind of just takes away the power of it. And it was like, this is kind of weak.
That stinks.
It was a bummer. Speaking of that, I heard there's a cover that fucking annoyed me. You heard the band Aborted?
Yeah.
They've
been around forever.
They have, I forget the name of the release, but it has a cover of a
fucking
what?
What a cockroach of a band they are.
But
they will not die.
Also, like, tons of rape allegations. That's besides the point. But they had this thing where there was an Integrity cover. I think it was Integrity, but they definitely did a cover of Turmoil's "Playing Dead."
Interesting.
Rager of a song, right? I was like, all right, this could be fucking interesting. No.
Oh.
No. All feeling was just taken out of it. All the dynamicism pulled right out of it. No heart. It was just stupid.
Damn, what the fuck?
Like, they kept, like, I understand putting your own sting on it, but you don't need to add blast beats to that song.
No.
It's fast enough.
God damn it.
Like, it's just shit. Yeah, I just, note for note covers is just meh.
That's something I don't want those type of metal bands to ever do, is put blast beats in songs without blast beats.
Yeah.
I don't need those. I don't want them.
We already know you guys can blast.
Yeah, we've heard your catalog.
Though I do, like, the only time I really like kind of note for note covers is if the genres of the band covering and the band being covered are so diametrically opposed that it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like a recent one I heard, Napalm Death covers a Sonic Youth song, White Cross.
Huh.
And it's pretty much a note for note cover, but it's really well done. And just the fact it's like, just the whole thing is like, all right, there's a band that doesn't really down tune at all being covered by Napalm Death, who's like normally like, you know, fast.
Mm-hmm.
And this song isn't fast, and they just fucking kill it. Wow. It's great. So that's cool. Like when it's like completely like or like when the Cardigans cover Sabbath. You're just like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. But then they don't do note for note recreations of the Sabbath covers either. Mm. It's funny. You ever hear their cover of Iron Man?
No.
It's fucking great. It sounds nothing like the original except for the lyrics and the vocals. Like you can tell it's the right notes. They're playing the right song.
That's so
but
funny.
It's just a Cardigan song that happens to have
Sabbath lyrics.
Yeah, it's funny. It's great.
This is a fucking bozo question. Is Iron Man is a... Yeah, never mind. What? I answered it. Iron Man is a Sabbath song, not an Ozzy song.
Yeah, it's a Sabbath song.
Yeah.
It's one of my least favorite Sabbath songs, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like...
There's so many good ones.
Yeah, you know where it's fucking really good that I don't think gets enough credit is the non-Ozzy Sabbath stuff. The Ian Gillan and the fucking Dio stuff.
What the hell is a Dehumanizer?
Yeah, it's got some jams on it.
Yeah.
Like, the riffs are still good. Yeah, the vocals... Look, it's better with Ozzy, no doubt. Like, don't get it twisted, but... I don't think Dio's vocal style really fits Sabbath that well. No. But if you take his vocals away and just have the song itself, it's still good. It's still good Sabbath songs. It's just not the same because Dio's vibe doesn't match the Sabbath sound to me.
No, for sure. Some of the best Sabbath merch came from Dehumanizer too.
Yeah, but musically it's great. Just everything else is kind of like lackluster. I don't know if they did records with that dude from. I think he's in Deep Purple.
Ian Gillan.
Yeah,
is in Deep Purple still.
Yeah, I don't know if he recorded with Sabbath though.
I never even knew he was in the band.
Yeah, briefly.
That's
between
wild.
The two.
That's crazy. Oh, it must. Yeah.
Like I would have rather hear that version of Sabbath than the Dio Sabbath. Dio is he's like a power metal vocalist.
Yeah.
Not like a fucking Stonehenge ass riff band vocalist.
Yeah, he's like Swords and Battle and stuff.
Yeah. He's good for what he does, don't get me wrong, but it's like some things don't belong together.
No.
What do you got in your little pieces of paper, dude?
I got so many things I wanted to get to today. Let's see. On Patreon, we talked about how I felt about the Joe Rogan special.
Yeah. If you want to hear what he thought about the Joe Rogan special, go to patreon.com/IRRANDILL. That's $3 a month. Gets you a bonus episode a week. And Mike Murrow will send you a case of Rap Snacks completely free. So if you want to support us and you like what we do, and two things. Go check out the Patreon. And if you don't want to give us money, repost our clips.
Yeah, please.
Or leave comments in the Reels. Leave comments on the YouTube page. Drive up the algorithm so our stuff gets out there more.
Yeah, I want people who don't know us to see us.
Yes.
And possibly laugh.
Leave a comment, throw a thumbs up, anything. It helps get it circulated a little bit more.
Yeah, but yeah, on the Patreon this week we'll have gotten to the
patreon.com/IRRANDILL.
IRR.
And also this episode is brought to us by Pickles, Premium Pickles, Parlay Philly, and Rick Murrow.
Yeah, Rick Murrow.
Not Mike, Rick.
Specifically.
Rick.
Oh, we've talked about this multiple times, like in the car, coming over here or taking you home.
Kissing each other.
Usually when we're holding hands on the way over here specifically. Yes. But how fucking bad is Stuff Island anymore? Talk about one of the greatest to fall.
I don't like talking about it because it's depressing. They used to be my favorite one, the one I look forward to more than any other podcast.
They were in my They were one of the pods when they come out throughout the week. I listened immediately that morning.
Yeah.
And all the pods that I'm subscribed to, when you listen to them on Apple Podcasts, it downloads overnight. Whenever the episode is posted, it updates in your library automatically and downloads so that it's there. So I would listen to it first thing the day they came out. And then a few weeks went by when I saw who the guest was, and I was like, I'm not even going to listen to this.
I still listen, but like when it was for a while, it was just O'Connor and
Tommy.
No, for a while it was O'Connor, Gardini, and Nate Marshall.
Yeah, a couple of weeks when Tommy was gone.
Fine.
I thought that was okay.
They were fine, but they weren't to the quality of when they were still in New York. So I was like, all right, maybe there's getting adjusted to relocating to Austin. You just got to get figured out. Then they'll get their groove back, and I'm still waiting.
All they talk about anymore is Tommy got a dog
and the driver's license.
They moved to Austin and drinking.
Yeah,
that's all they talk about.
And they've had good guests. Some, like I like Derek Poston a lot.
He was a good one.
Isan Ahmad is fine. He's pretty good.
I listened to some of it and I had to stop because I was like, this is too boring.
With some of the others, I was just like, they're like, I normally can get through an entire podcast, no problem, right? I stop at like the 40-minute mark most of the time.
I stopped at the Isan episode at like the 20-something. I was like, this is crushing me.
Yeah, and it's not that it's a terrible podcast. It's just that it's dropped off.
Yes.
And I keep waiting for them to get their fucking groove back, and still waiting.
I was even a Patreon patron of theirs for like a month one time. And I downloaded the entire back catalog and just listened to that. Like,
the New York episodes are so good.
They were fucking great. They were one of the best podcasts.
It sucks.
And they're in the they're still in the early to middle, not even yet middle hundreds episodes. Yeah. Right? They're in the
They've honestly been a podcast as long as we have.
Longer.
Not by much.
Not by very much. I think they might have 10 episodes on us.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
We hit 100 yet?
No, we will soon though. I think
we got to figure out something fun to do.
I know, but we're going to have a couple young dudes on.
Oh, that's on 100?
Yeah.
Okay. We got to plan our 2-year episode too.
Yeah, in September.
Yeah. We'll figure that out.
Wow, that's next month.
It is.
Fuck.
It is.
Yeah, we can figure something out.
Yeah. But yeah, the drop off sucks, and hopefully they bring it back because they're both genuinely hilarious dudes. Yeah,
there are enough podcasts. This is one of my notes is that there are enough podcasts with likable hosts that are about nothing that are better than it.
A lot of, I don't know if it's also, I don't know about you, but I've been getting like burnout of listening to other podcasts too. Like, I don't get stoked on pretty much any of the podcasts I regularly listen to much anymore. I think I'm just in like, I don't know. It's like sometimes just like I don't want to listen to podcasts. But then they start accumulating, and you're like, all right, fuck. I guess I got to go through them.
What Apple will do is that if you have an episode in your library when a new one comes out, unless I think. No, never mind. If it downloads, it'll stay in your library. But if you don't have it set to automatically download, it'll phase out when the next episode comes out.
It's funny, like the only podcast now that I make it a point that I actually get excited about is the Adam Friedland Show podcast.
That's it.
And the thing is, only the episodes that have Nick on it. If it's Friedland and somebody else,
I won't listen to it.
I skip it completely.
I will not listen to Adam Friedland.
And that's my favorite podcast. But what the episodes that it's Nick and a guest, they're fucking
so good,
great. I was like, God damn it! Why can't this be like a thing?
Why can't Nick have his own podcast without Adam?
I think they've got too much money invested in what they have.
I cannot stand Adam Friedland.
But one that's gotten increasingly better and is actually a great podcast now is Soder's podcast.
Oh, Soder.
Really good.
That's
It's
one
a really good podcast.
that took the spot for Wednesdays for me.
Yeah.
Where the hole that Stuff Island left in my heart on Wednesdays has been filled with Soder.
And the other one I look forward to, it's kind of a similar situation to the Freeland Show podcast, is the Regs. And the thing is like, it's only every other week.
I think we're going to get one this week.
It is. It's already been upcoming on YouTube.
Oh, really?
But that's every other week. It's not a weekly thing. So
I'm glad they do that every other week, actually.
well, that's when you got 4 very successful comedians. You got it. This is time management for them.
Well, also their format is like, it's really loose.
Yeah.
There is somewhat of a format, but I couldn't listen to that show every week, I don't think.
It might start to get stale.
In the format that it is right now, I think bi-weekly is great.
I think they feed off. They're the perfect combination of hosts.
Yeah, them 4 together.
I think if they were bringing guests, though, it would ruin it.
I think it would too.
It'd be a mess.
I think it would also.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Bobby Kelly's podcast has dropped off quite a bit.
I think I'm going to unfollow it. The only reason
Depends on who the guest is anymore.
The only reason I follow it is to see who the guest is. Because if it's someone I don't know or don't care for, delete.
I do this thing now. Is like I'll start watching or listening, and as soon as you hear the phrase "back in the day," off. I'm like, nope, not doing it. I can't.
Bob also likes to act like he didn't move to LA and try to be an actor for a long time.
Yeah.
He acts like he's been doing stand up this whole time just because he was a cellar guy.
It's just like
they clowned on Bobby back then, and they still clown. They still will bust
I'm
his
just
ass.
tired of like comedy is like punk rock, dude. I'm like, all right, get a new fucking thing. I don't. Like our podcast isn't perfect, so I don't want to throw too much shade on that shit. And I still love those podcasts, but I just wish it would get better.
Yeah, fuck them.
And it's also like Matt and Shane's podcast. It's still good, but there's too many episodes where they're not together.
Yeah.
And that's like the peak Matt and Shane's podcast thing, is when it's both of them together, no guest. That's when they're like, that's just perfect no matter what. And then just, those are few and far between anymore. They're still good without, but they're just, come on guys. It's like, you guys live in the same town. You can't get together one night a week.
I love
how the quality of that podcast has never improved.
No. I remember I think I had podcast burnout last week or the week before because I had nothing to listen to, and I was like, I don't want anything else to come out. So I went back in the Matt and Shane catalog and just listened to old stuff. Like I listened to an old one with Francis Ellis. I listened to an old one with Normand, and I was like, man, they real. And it was Bert. Kreischer was on there one time, and he was like, it might have been, it was either Bert or the episode before him. They were like, you only just do one camera, and they're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cool.
I remember for a while when they were shooting the podcast in the same apartment where Stuff Island was shooting.
Yeah.
And
Shane's apartment in Queens.
Gardini would be on camera with his back to the camera while they're recording, because he was producing there. And like when they're like, Gardini, give your dates, he would turn around and be like, but his back was to the camera the entire time, and he didn't speak. It was like, why have him in frame then? So it's just like, it's so fucking funny.
Stop. Yeah. It's time to stop talking shrimps with wimps
and start talking lobsters with the mobsters. But just the fact that like all these other guys are dropping tons of money on studios and shit like that.
It's just crap.
Multi-camera views, and they're just like, still the best comedy podcast popping, and it's just
like
bare bones.
Like who? No. Dropping money. Flagrant.
There's another one. Gee, that used to be my favorite podcast.
I definitely loved it for a long
that was my
time.
favorite fucking podcast.
I don't know how many episodes they have. I feel like they've been around
shit
forever.
ton.
Because I've listened to that show pretty much since its inception as Flagrant 2.
I've listened when it was still Flagrant the first time.
I didn't know it was ever Flagrant the first time.
Flagrant, then the Flagrant 2, then back to Flagrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever heard... I heard Flagrant 2 at its inception.
I think Flagrant 2 is when they went to Miami.
Oh, for COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
When it's... The episodes now, if it's just the guys, it's good. But there's too many... Like, and the guests they get are never anything that interests me. Like, I hate when my favorite podcasts bring on, like, athletes, fighters,
Actors.
TikTokers. And shit. I'm like, I don't care. Like, the newest Flagrant. You know who the guest is? Peter Dinklage.
Why?
Exactly. I don't fucking care.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you why. It's because they want listeners or viewers that are not podcast listeners or viewers.
Yeah.
They want people to check them out. They just want eyeballs.
To me, they just they try too hard to copy what Rogan does.
It's the same shit that they're doing with like UFC fighters and shit.
Yeah,
These are all people who are going to watch that episode and maybe never another one.
Yeah, because like great, you have the eyes like following that UFC fighter to your podcast, but if they follow that fighter to the podcast and the podcast isn't funny enough to keep them there, are you really making a difference? You know what I mean? Like say you like fucking Rowdy Roddy Piper, right? You know, I love Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Pass at the Comedy Store, I've heard.
Yes, but and he's on this podcast, so you're all right. I'm gonna go watch it, and you watch it, and it's not a funny podcast. It's not an interesting podcast. You're not going to stay watching Flagrant because Roddy Piper was on it. You're just going to follow whatever Piper does next, and you're not going to give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Piper nearly killed her.
Exactly. So I don't know if that. I mean, I'm not the smartest man. They all still seem to be making money hand over fist. So you know, that's cool.
I'm not a smart man.
I just think the fucking COVID podcast bubble has burst, and
yeah, it definitely has.
The weak ones will get fucking winnowed out, and the thing that sucks is a lot of the ones you thought were good are the ones that are going to get weeded out.
Oh, they're gonna they'll slowly backslide or just drop off in quality and then hopefully just give up.
That was one of the best things about COVID.
Oh, bad things leaving.
The best things about COVID, dude.
What, being by yourself all the time?
No, good podcast.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of good shit came out of that.
But like most of like the bigger podcasts now, it's like I can't. It's like I find myself just re-listening to old stand-up specials, and I've even been burnt out on music because we do the homework thing here. Is I spend so much time on records I'm assigned. I rarely get the time to listen to the shit I want to listen to for my own enjoyment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, if podcasts are weak that week, I'm like, all right, I can sit down and listen to new albums by bands that I haven't got a chance to sit down and listen to yet and catch up on that. So I've been choosing that most days the past couple, almost like 2 months now.
That's one of the only downsides to being back to work somewhat consistently for me is my time is much more valuable now.
Now I get to listen to shit constantly while I'm working, so that's a plus.
When I worked in the office, I did that too.
Yeah.
And although if we have enough, like if we have few enough homework to do, yeah. I can knock out like 1 or 2 assignments in a drive to work or something.
I try to knock it all out in a day.
I like doing that, but that's rare.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't, but I try to. But sometimes that's also not smart.
Right.
Because it's not always going to be the same genre. So
sometimes though,
when say I'm listening to something heavy, I'm in the mood for heavy music. And then the next thing I got to listen to is like a lighter thing. Like I'm going into it wanting something heavy, and then it's not, and it's no fault of the artists themselves. So you're kind of just like, all right, let me not listen to this now. Let me put this aside and bring it up later when I can start with that and not have it be in the shadow of the thing I listened to previously.
Yeah, I've done that too. Like I've purposely put a homework assignment down so that I could come back to it when I'm in the mood, and it's helped. Yeah. Because otherwise I'll write a shitty, like, not try that hard to write review.
Yeah, or just, you don't feel like you're giving it a fair shake.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like
That's the whole point of the homework.
I got stand-up specials I gotta catch up on because I just been doing the homework assignments and shit. Mm-hmm. But there's like there's like a bunch of new specials that are out that I just haven't watched yet.
I need so many new ones. And that's another thing that sucks is like now that getting a special or making a special is so much easier now that you can just do it yourself and not have to worry about Netflix or Hulu coming to you and saying, I want to put your special out. You can just do it yourself on YouTube. That's great. And it's gives you some great specials, but now there's so many of them. You know what I mean? It's like you go for like, oh, you gotta get like, let's say you get like 12 a year. Now it's like you get 12 a month. You might get 20 a month. And
at least like 3 of them you might actually want to listen to or watch.
Maybe.
And just getting the time in. It's like, God damn it.
Although I am happy with the explosion of things being put on YouTube, especially within the last year, is that now either comics who own the rights to or production companies or whoever who own the rights to a special are putting them on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Like specials that have never seen the light of day because they've been buried in a streamer or a physical release or something fucking stupid. Or like they're finally like seeing hundreds of thousands of eyes, if not millions, because they're on YouTube now for free.
It's kind of funny too is that all of a sudden there'll be a special that you've seen but you forgot it existed because you only got a chance to watch it once, and then somebody uploads it. You're like, oh yeah, that exists. Like somebody just uploaded to YouTube Robert Kelly's Just a Tip.
Oh.
And I hadn't seen that since it came out. And I was like, yeah, all right.
I've never seen it.
I sat down and listened to it, and it's good, but it's like I forgot all about it. I have the physical copy of the CD version, but that's the only way I could watch it. And like I don't think I even have something that can play CD. No, I guess I have an Xbox that can play CDs, but I don't have a CD player anymore. So that shit's all lost. I can go download it off Soul so you can listen to it that way, but that was just funny. It's like, oh, that exists. Like, one thing I wanted to re-watch that you just can't find anywhere, Tony Hinchcliffe had a special on Netflix. It was one of like the OG Netflix specials. It was called One Shot. And it's gone. It's not on Netflix anymore. Hasn't been on Netflix in like a decade.
It's been raised.
It's just completely gone. And I watched it when it first came out and liked it, and never got a chance to see it again because it disappeared to like, you know, the back page of Netflix. You know, you had to dig for it. But now it's just gone.
Do me a favor, pull up Safari for me. I want to see if I can find it while we talk about it.
Yeah, use Google because I think Safari's all on those murder videos I watch. Yeah.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. Tony Hinchcliffe, One Shot.
Is it shot? Is it like only one set?
I don't remember. It's been that long. But it was a Netflix special, and then it just disappeared. Like all these other like specials that came out around the same time are still on Netflix. Yeah. For some reason, it's gone. And it wasn't like it was a special that just ended up on Netflix. Netflix produced it and did it. Like it was their. They produced everything. So it's not like how like some old specials end up on Netflix.
It was shot at the Ice House.
Yeah.
In Pasadena.
What year?
16.
Okay, so almost 10 years.
Yeah, pretty close.
But yeah, it's just gone. It doesn't exist.
4 years ago on Reddit, where can I watch the One Shot special? Where can I watch this One Shot? It's not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
Archived post. Let's continue.
I don't...
Can't answer your question, but have you seen it before? Obviously fucking not. God, people are so stupid. They didn't even think.
I love when people like respond to those things like, I also want to see this. Like, okay, great. So shut up.
If you want to still like Tony, I would skip it.
I remember liking it, but
funny.
like I said, like I can't refresh my memory because it's been so goddamn long.
Oh man, somebody
And I want to know like why it got taken off.
that's fucking bullshit.
You know what I mean?
Sucks.
Oh, I can still watch 37 Joe Coy specials, but I can't watch that one.
Yo, was he on the
No.
he wasn't on the list
I
of
would've said his
Comedy
name.
Store?
The window might still be on Google.
It was. I just closed it though.
Oh well, it doesn't care that much.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't past there.
I figured he's one of those guys that just gets passed everywhere.
Yeah, it's like silly not to.
Yeah.
Normally Google will have an option that says watch video or watch movie.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not. That's fucking bananas.
I remember last thing I looked it up on IMDb because IMDb, when you look up something, it'll have watch options like where you can find it and shit like that.
Oh,
I don't even know that if you can get it off Amazon if you pay for it.
that doesn't make sense. Oh, like
Well,
if you
it does
buy,
because
if you buy it?
Amazon's a rival streamer, but you figure like you at least should be able to buy it somehow.
I don't even remember seeing in the Google headline shot at the Ice House Pasadena 2016.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't.
There was zero promo.
just now. I don't even think I saw that Netflix produced it.
There was no promo for it whatsoever. Just one day, I'm scrolling through Netflix and there it is. I was like, all right, cool. Actually, you know what? The very first time I watched it, I got the DVD sent to my house. It was that long ago. I was like, yeah, this is scrubbed from the fucking thing.
That's fucking crazy.
So, yeah. I do love that comedians get to put their shit out on YouTube and all that. But now it's just like, now that everybody sees that's an option, everybody's using it, and now it's hard to keep up. And not all of them are good. But, you know, a lot of guys and girls who would never have gotten a shot from the major streamers are getting their shit out. And there's some great specials that you did get to see. So that's a good thing. And, you know, it's just like anything. You got to really search out the good shit. You got to sit through a couple of stinkers before you find them.
Sometimes. Even, I think it's so sick that people have networks, like not just All Things Comedy, but like 800 Pound Gorilla or like Helium Comedy Studios.
Yeah.
Like, I love that you can subscribe to a YouTube page.
Yes.
And not all the time, but sometimes they'll put out a special of a comic you've never ever heard of and be like, oh wow, this is really fucking funny.
I normally, the 800 Pound Gorilla stuff, I'll check out everything.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah, I don't get through a lot of them, but occasionally you stumble across something cool.
Yeah, you try it.
And the 800 Pound Gorilla also does this thing where they'll host specials that they had no hand in making. The ones that came out before 800 Pound Gorilla had moved to comedy, because it used to be a music distro thing.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And then they started like doing comedy specials and comedy albums and stuff. But they had like stuff that came out before 800 Pound Gorilla existed. They'll just host it, and you're like, all right, cool, that's awesome. Or stuff that's released like on a personal YouTube of the comic, and then all of a sudden they're putting it out too. It's like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, some of it stinks, but I make it a point to check out anything. I think the only time I'll say I've actually never given it a shot from 800 Pound Gorilla is when you can tell it's like a music act. Because I will not sit through musical comedy at all.
Like Stephen Lynch.
Yeah. Dude, this chair's hurting my butt. But like there's one, it was like three guys and one had a violin. I was like, absolutely not.
I can't do that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm sure you're great guys, and I'm glad that you got your material out there, but
I can think of 100 things I'd watch before that.
yeah. I watch a puppet act before that. Well, that being said, I love Randy Feltface.
Speaking of Helium Comedy Studios.
Like at first, just as a goof, like, oh, this will be a fun thing to run to the ground and annoy Tom with. But now, like, he legit has good material. Like, he legit has decent jokes. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, do I really think it's funny, or is it just like watching puppets say shit?
Are you so far in on your own bit that you can't pull your head out of your ass?
I can't fucking find my way out, dude. I'm lost.
That's so good.
I love Randy. And then again, also, I think I'll just laugh at anybody with a Australian accent.
Oh, good.
I was speaking of, though, this is also an 800-pound gorilla. That dude, James McCann.
Yeah, the McCann plan.
He has a
catamaran plan.
He has a special on 800-pound gorilla.
Really?
And it's the Christmas special is what it's called. It's from 2022. And it sucks. It's him sitting in front of a piano. And I'm just like, no, this is just terrible.
Did he ever? Did he play it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
I thought you were saying he just physically sat in front of one, which I thought would be...
He doesn't, like, make full songs and shit, but he's tickling the ivories.
He just hits notes?
And I was just like, I made it, I think, 15 minutes, and I was like, I'm good.
Oh, Zach Galifianakis does that better.
Yeah. But I think I just give him credit just because he has an Australian accent, and they make me laugh.
And MSSP...
He fucking pushed the shit out of that guy.
He's a darling of that show.
Yeah, he's pretty funny on that podcast. So that's why I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah. I actually tried to make through an episode of his podcast, and I was like, I can't do it.
I forgot he had one.
James Donald Forbes McCann's Catamaran Plan.
That's the full name.
Mm-hmm. Why does this guy need to have 4 names in his stage name? Like, granted, it's his name. I get it.
That's great.
You don't need to use all of them. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's a good bit to annoy you with.
It's fucking awful.
I like it.
But the special I found is just under James McCann. It doesn't have all the other extra shit on it.
James Donald, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, go fuck yourself, you
James Donald Trump McCann.
I'd watch that. If Trump transitioned to stand-up post running for president, would you watch?
Are you kidding? Of course I would.
I would too.
I would give it a try.
How do you think he'd do?
I think here's what would happen. No matter where it's filmed or where he wants to perform at, it's going to be sold out instantly beyond belief, even if it's a 50,000 seater.
Oh yeah.
I think he's funny enough on his own that and he knows enough about entertaining people on camera that no matter what he puts out, I think there'll be plenty of things that you'll be like,
oh yeah,
or like, that was a good one.
Now, if it was
never more than that.
If it was a straight up stand up special, it could go either way to me.
It also doesn't need to be an hour.
But if it was 45 minutes.
I think 25.
Wait, just listen. 45 minutes. Donald Trump crowd work special.
45 is too long. I think
Donald Trump crowd work special is where you need to focus. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about the time. Donald Trump crowd work special. It's just a license to print money.
Oh, of course.
I think it'd be some of the best crowd work ever. Because it wouldn't be funny, it'd just be vicious and mean, which coming from an 80-year-old billionaire is fucking hysterical. Oh, God, I'd love to see that.
I'd pay $1 to watch it on YouTube.
I guarantee even the most diehard liberal, left-leaning person would still tune into that.
Oh, for sure. They'd hate watch it.
And I think he'd still have some of them going, ha.
That's why I tuned into the most recent Joe Rogan special. Not to hate watch it, but to curiously be like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I don't understand live specials on Netflix. I don't like it.
I think that was a joint move. I think that was a joint move between the Rogan camp, i.e. Joe, and the Netflix camp, because they saw what happened with the Tony Hinch, the Tom Brady roast.
They've done other live specials though.
Like
Chris Rock, his first show back since the slap. Cat Williams.
I didn't even know Cat did another thing.
Woke Folk.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I would like to watch that.
Dropped right after he did that Club Shay Shay thing. So everybody's like, oh, maybe he's just spouting that shit.
Brilliant.
And if he did, that is brilliant.
What a move.
And most of the shit he said turned out to be true. So
exactly.
But yeah, they've done it before, and like it premieres live. That I don't know if they go back and do edits afterwards or they just leave it how it came out. But I honestly would rather it be edited. Because I want it to be exactly what the comedian wants people to see.
I think Rogan's was straight up live.
Yeah.
Because there was I won't spoil it because you haven't seen it yet.
Apparently,
but
there's flubs in it.
There was a crowd interaction too that was on the spot, and I thought he handled it really well.
Well, he should. He's a fucking almost 30+ year veteran.
Yeah, 30+.
He should be able to handle a crowd like nothing. But I'm just saying that I think edited so where the comedian puts out exactly what they want to put out to see. No flubs. Them just fucking 100% on their game. No fuck ups. And just, I think I prefer that. Because I don't want to see them fuck up a joke and then not be able to take it back. When they could have delivered it correctly, it'd have been a way more powerful joke. You know what I mean?
And plus, like, if a comic is filming a special, a lot of people will film 2 shows. A lot of people will film.
Splice it together.
The smart people will film 4.
Yeah.
And yes, they can splice the best of the best and put out the best
Multiple
possible
takes,
thing.
yes.
They can put out the best possible product.
So I'd rather have that than a live one. If it's going to be that type of vibe, first off, it's still not the same vibe as seeing it live in a club.
No, it'll never be.
No matter how much they say, it's like, oh, it's just like going to see it live now.
I think maybe that's what they're trying to capture with like the live streaming thing.
Yeah.
And I think in tandem, Netflix is like, look how fucking good Kill Tony does. They get millions of viewers.
Well, Kill Tony's going to Netflix. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But
Tony Hinchcliffe is signing another Netflix deal to have that show be live on Netflix.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it's funny, they had one of the recent episodes of Kill Tony, all of the Netflix execs were in the crowd. And some shit was going off rails, and he was like, I'm glad you guys decided to do this on the night that I had all the guys from Netflix here. And as soon as he said Netflix, everybody's like, boo! And just booed the shit out of him. And I'm like, that's
so funny. That's so poetic and hilarious.
I don't know which episode it was. I saw a highlight thing about it. But yeah.
I'll find that. That's funny.
He's gonna have a Kill Tony on Netflix.
But to
that being live makes sense though.
Right. But to what I was saying about Netflix wanting to put out live things like that, they're trying to capture a thing that they're never going to capture.
No.
And it was Rogan who actually said a brilliant thing about watching a special versus going to a club or a theater. You can watch the best special of the year. Mm-hmm. And it is 60% as good as going to the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that is the exact right number. That's correct.
What it is to me is that when you go out to a club, you spent $20-$30
per ticket
to sit there and watch this.
You're talking 27 average or more. Yeah.
That's not, I'm not getting into the weeds of the cost, but I'm saying you spent your money to go sit and watch this person perform.
Albeit you're spending $100.
If they're going up there and bombing, you're still going to sit there and get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Whereas if the special comes out on Netflix or wherever and they're bombing, you can turn it off and go find something else.
I go eat Fruit Loops or something.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you're at the club and this guy's performing and he's not good or he's just bombing that night for some fucking reason, you can't go push him out of the way and put another comic up there. So it's kind of like you're taking more of a chance, and when the comedian is up there and he's killing, then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I'm definitely getting my fucking money's worth. You sacrifice more to be there, which makes the payoff of a great performance even that much better.
Yeah, you have no choice because you're locked in.
It's cool if you stumble onto a special on whatever streaming platform and it's good. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But when you go see somebody perform live and it's amazing, you're like, well, I took time off of my life to go do this. I spent money to come do this.
I drove here.
I drove here. I rounded up whatever friends I could. I dropped money on chicken fingers and beer to do this. And
hell yeah, we did.
Then it's like everything pays off. So it's a much bigger payoff. And there's something just to be said about the fact that all comedy clubs have uncomfortable seatings for a man my size. Now, if I can completely not even think about that because I'm laughing my ass off and just being completely entertained, that says something. Whereas, like, I'm at home on my own couch I'm in my perfect cave. You know, it's like
your element.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it'll live on Netflix will ever capture live.
It's not possible.
Just like you watch like a live performance of music on TV or streaming or whatever. It's cool.
You can have the biggest like 100-inch TV and the nicest sounding room and
correct.
the lights dimmed.
Correct.
It's not the same. It will never ever be the same.
I know this is sound weird, but just like being there, you know, boots on the ground, just with like the people around you, just the fucking smell around you, just like the atmosphere of it. It's just different. Music, comedy, whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of boots on the ground, how about one for the troops?
The Russian troops.
Let's get rid of that Hazoff battalion, right?
I'm telling you, dude. Bunch of stinky people.
You know what we were talking about in this, not the topic we were talking about, but this got brought up in multiple group chats that got started with you and I recently, and that was
way too many.
That was the hardcore Reddit.
Oh yeah. I don't go to Reddit.
I will not
unless someone's like, if someone sends me a link, it's like just look at this thread. Cool, I'll look at it. Right. But
every time I do that, I regret it.
I don't actively go to Reddit. It's just no, because I don't want to end up getting sucked into like a wormhole and then come out as a Redditor. There's
a reason Reddit rhymes with regret it.
Well, it kind of doesn't. There's too many syllables and regretted it.
Still rhymes though.
Oh, the rhymes, yes.
I think the hardcore Reddit is like sub Lambgoat. It's even worse than Lambgoat.
Lambgoat occasionally, some people will post some shit on there that just fucking cracks me the fuck up.
I'm not even talking about just comments.
I used to be a 4chan man.
Because
I'll never get in that wormhole again.
You can find good comments, funny comments, just about anywhere on anything.
Yeah.
But just like I think the main difference between Lambgoat and Reddit is that any old fucking Joe off the street can post a Reddit thread, but Lambgoat has to go through channels to get posted on there.
Yeah.
Albeit they're probably not that strict, I'm gonna venture to guess, but there's some kind of check and balance there.
I think the only thing that appeals to me remotely about Reddit is just when people send me threads of shit. It's like, because sometimes you look at like what your friends are saying or like the bands or comedians you follow are saying, and what they're saying and what you think in your head are completely opposite. Like, say you think band X just fucking sucks, and you see I
hate band X,
and you see all these other people blowing this band, puffing them up, talking about how great they are, and you're just in your head, you're like, am I fucking crazy? Like, is there something wrong with me? Or is this band suck and no one wants to admit it? Then someone's like, oh, here's a Reddit thread that says that exactly what you think. But that is also a slippery slope, because then all of a sudden, they're just, are they really think that this sucks, or are they just saying it to get a rise out of people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, I am not a contrarian. I have unpopular opinions.
He opens with contrary to.
It's true. It's fun. But I like what I like and shit, but it's like I can find anything to back my opinion on Reddit. So I'm like, that's dangerous.
I call Reddit nerd Google.
Or the funniest thing, I forget, it might have been Bill Burr, like refer to it as imright.com. Because you can pretty much go on there and anything you're thinking can be confirmed by just going on like message boards and shit like that. And I'm like, it's nice to know that you're not the only one sometimes, but then also you're like, this is a dangerous thing to have, and it is funny sometimes.
Confirmation bias.
Yes, that's exactly what phrase I was looking for. It's just like, all right, I'm out with that shit. But every once in a while, Lambgoat comments will just fucking crack me the fuck up.
The same can be said about a lot of comments, but yep, that's so true. Shane from Down In It here.
I used to comment on Lamb Goat shit back in the day.
ABC from XYZ band here, blah, 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 blah. Hilarious.
Somebody was on there recently that used to do Todd from Nails here. And it was these long paragraphs. And he's like, then I put on my leather jacket and my aviator shades and latered that motherfucker out. I'm like,
latered that motherfucker.
And it was just funny. But I used to get on it back in the day. I'm talking like early aughts. And my only comment I would ever post was, who farted? Capital letters, who farted? That's all I ever did.
You still never knew, did you?
No, I just thought it was fun. Because you have people actually having all these like back and forth arguments. Because back when you actually had to have somewhat of a username. And always back and forth like this, and everybody's getting heated. And I would just be like, who farted?
Seriously, who the fuck farted?
That shit fucking cracks me up. And I don't care if only I find it funny. I find it funny. But every once in a while, you do want some of that confirmation bias, and you want to go say, I can't be the only person in the world that thinks Code Orange is a really bad band.
No, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many people who would say, fuck that band.
You've had to have had at least one opinion where no one else echoes it. Like, no one else believes the same thing you do. And you just kind of think it's like, am I doing something wrong? Am I crazy? Like, am I not hearing it right? Am I not seeing it right?
We talked about it on Patreon. I'll just hint at it briefly, is that I don't think Mind Force is that good.
Yeah. But you see everybody else, like, excited about all this shit, but it's like, are you really excited about whatever band, or are you just saying it because they're friends of yours and that everybody else around you is saying it's good?
Right. Confirmation bias.
The only other person, like, of my friends that I've seen that I've posted something and said, this is really bad, what are you talking about, is my buddy Cody Clark. Shout out Cody. Check out his band, Great American Typewriter. Check them out. They're really good pop punk. They were talking about that band Torture, who I just don't care for.
I do not like it.
And he was just like, I'm sure these guys are doing their thing, but I just don't get it. What are you? And he was kind of the same thing I just said, like, what are you hearing that I'm not hearing? Because this is not good. And he wasn't like being like derogatory or just like trashing them. He's just like, are you guys serious? Like, you like this?
Right.
Like, what?
When I learned that they don't have lyrics,
They don't?
I was out. Yeah.
Oh, that just sealed the deal for me. Do they have song titles?
Charm assigned us them for homework.
I remember,
before.
but do they have song titles?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know what they do live.
So
I
you title your
them.
song after,
right?
It's like,
or something, or even worse, something just random.
Yeah, like, that's stupid.
Like, I guess maybe it's Old Man Yells at Cloud of me, but
no,
I think
if that band didn't have friends involved in hardcore, no one would give a shit.
Well, also, if Slam wasn't on its 10th resurgence right now,
God bless.
I mean, thank God for good Slam, but
I love
that's not it.
That type of death metal.
Slam.
That Torture's trying to do. I get what they're trying to do, and I like a lot of it. But that one?
That ain't it.
All the band, it's like, let's say there's 100 really good hardcore bands playing a show. And one really, really bad band playing the show as well. And then everybody goes completely nuts for the bad band, but just kind of stares at all the great bands. You just kind of be like, what's going on here? What's this about? And then you're like, oh, well, guy in bad band, he's a promoter at this venue that everyone wants to play, or his band has the hook up here. Mm-hmm. His band will get your band put out your record on his label and shit. So you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, you can't go through fucking Salt Lake City without this guy or this person's band or whatever.
It actually brings me to another thing. Another thing I hate is, and I hate to be the old guy like yelling at clouds too, but it's like people will talk shit like that I know hate that style of music. They don't like slam at all. They don't like anything to do with it. They've always talked shit on it. But then all of a sudden some cool dude started a band that sounded exactly like that. Then all of a sudden, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. It's like, shut up. You don't mean that. Mm-mm. You're lying to everyone. It's like you can show somebody a band. It's like just straight up like, say you show somebody Mortician, and they're just like, this sucks. If they think it sucks, fair. Okay, they're wrong, but that's fair, right? But if someone from like Knocked Loose or Power Trip or whoever does a band that sounds exactly note for note like Mortician, and then somebody will be like, well, this is just brilliant.
They're just washing their balls about
Here's
it.
like, that fucking drives me nuts. It's like, you can't be serious. Or if they do like it, and then you try to show them another band that's on par with, if not better than, and they just don't want anything to do with it because, you know, person X is not in the band. You're just like, all right, you're just corny as all hell.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. That shit bugs the hell out of me.
I don't like it.
It's like, oh, this whole genre and style suck unless this guy whose dick I'm fucking in love with, he does it, and then it's fucking brilliant. Like,
all of a sudden it's sliced bread.
yeah, it's like, fuck off. But yeah, Torture's not good. Hey, maybe they're great dudes. I don't know them.
Probably. I just don't know.
Yeah, like, no. It's not even like good for that genre. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's not enough. There's too much good to compare that with it.
Yeah. Like, I'll pass on that shit. But I don't know if that's the same thing you wanted to talk about, but it's a bit of a tangent.
Here, now we're going to start some tangents.
Okay.
Well, maybe some tangents. What is a sound that... These are just random things I write down and just keep track of sometimes.
Okay.
What is one sound you absolutely hate to hear?
There's two that are coming to... And this is going to sound weird. Well, one of them's not all that weird. It's a way certain people talk.
Oh.
And you ever met somebody that I don't know if it counts as a speech impediment, but you can definitely tell they always have tons of slobber in their mouth when they're talking. They kind of talk and it's like this, and it's like it's not as bad as I just did it, but you can tell like there's like a pool of spit in their bottom lip while they're talking to you.
It's in the side of their mouth.
Yeah, and it's like,
that is my least favorite of the speech impediments.
I don't like it, but if you ever hear it on like a microphone, like say that person's like on a podcast or being interviewed somewhere,
man,
it fucking drives me nuts.
It's tough.
And this is very situational. When I'm eating something with metal utensils, like say I'm just, have like a metal spoon, metal fork, the sound of the metal utensil hitting my teeth
really
sends a shiver up my spine. So if you ever see me eat with a fork,
that one,
like you ever see me eat with a fork, I won't put the fork all the way in my mouth. I'll put it right to where I can bite the thing off the fork and take it off that way. Because if it goes and like hits a molar or like one of my teeth, I'm just like,
that's hilarious.
I get a shiver. It's weird. I don't know, and it's not like I don't like hearing it. It's like it gets a physical reaction from me, and it's a noise. It's my fault. So it's not like I can blame it on someone else doing it. It's like, oh. And the only other thing I can think of, my mother's jaw clicks, and like she has one of those mouthpieces you wear at night, so you're because it's from grinding.
Why did I know your mom was going to come up? That's so good.
But it's just like constantly, especially when she eats, it's just like click, 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 click. I'm like,
does she have TMJ or something?
yes, and she has the mouthpiece, but she doesn't fucking wear it.
Of course not. Why would she?
So yeah, so I'm just like, God damn it, and it's so loud that it sounds like it hurts.
Why would you take your medicine? Why would you wear your mouthpiece?
Right?
Why? Why even go to the doctor anymore?
Have you ever heard something like when they stand up, like when I stand up, my knees pop.
A lot of us do, yeah.
But you ever heard it so loud from somebody, you're like, damn, that probably hurts when that pops back into place like that.
Once in a while.
You know what I mean? This happens every time that the jaw thing happens. You're just like, God damn, like, put your fucking mouthpiece in.
God damn it.
Like, it makes me drool. Like, you're going to drool in your sleep anyway, stupid. Like, Jesus Christ. That shit drives me up the goddamn wall, though. Those are the only things. People that yawn pointlessly loud.
That's one for me.
Because you don't really have to make a noise when you yawn, but I do occasionally too. But when there's like, she's like my sweetheart. Like really just like hamming it up. Like I just want to throw hot coffee in their face. It's like, God damn it. Like, stop it. What about you?
I've been thinking this whole time. That was awesome.
Thank you.
One is the distant sound of like silverware being not placed but thrown into a drawer. The clang-a-lang.
Yeah.
That's one. But the thing that gets my goat the most
really puts a bee in my bonnet
is people eating too loud.
Oh, with their mouth open?
Yes.
John Hassan. The worst.
Oh no.
I would make it a point to not go eat with him because of it. Just like,
oh God. No.
It's brutal.
Those people should be shot in the head.
Like, when I would do that shit as a kid, I'd get hit. So that's why I don't do it now.
I was 50-50.
So now it's just like, how did you get this far in your life? Look, if I hear a little kid doing it,
that's one thing.
All right. But if I hear somebody like my age doing it, I was like, no one's ever checked you. And like, no one's ever been like, close your fucking mouth.
When I worked at Whole Foods, in fact, I remember I
didn't know holes could eat food.
the time, it was 2013.
Damn right.
And we were in the break room, and I heard a guy eating behind me so loudly. This is in the infancy of Instagram still. I took my phone and I used the forward-facing camera and I pointed it like over my shoulder because he was eating so loud that it came up on the camera.
Do you know anybody that breathes extremely heavy while they eat? Like mouth breathing?
No, not anymore.
My old man does that.
He does.
Those videos like while he eats, I'm like, yo, take a bite, stop, take a breath, then get your next bite. Slow down.
When people were eating on microphone in the last episode, the nerd clusters, it got a little tough for me for a second. But I just took my headphones off. Oh, speaking of which, this is the Larry Minute. I hate that. I don't like that noise on microphone at one.
You've done it before.
I know. I'm bad about it. I hate hearing.
So here's the thing with the Larry thing is like I get what Larry's like. I get that it bothers him because it can bother me too. But it's like, so that makes sense to me. But the other shit is just like, how have you not been checked in life? Just like eating like that in public.
Where have you been?
If you're in your own house by yourself, be a fucking hog. Go for it, dude. But you're out at a restaurant and you're just while you're eating, it's like, why are you like winded from eating? I'm fat as shit and I don't get winded from eating. I was like, that's insane to me. Yeah, but silverware doesn't bother me. But no, it does unless it's hitting my teeth. But scraping plates together,
I don't love it.
I didn't like either. And I've worked as a dishwasher my early employment years, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. But
sometimes it just be like that.
Also, people who don't pick up their feet when they walk.
Yo, that's a good one. I don't like that
sometimes
either.
You can't really tell, right? But sometimes, like, they're wearing, like, heavy shoes.
Oh.
It's just super obvious, and you're just like, damn it. Like,
one of the...
but I'm also guilty. I've done it before myself when I'm just fucking tired.
One of the people that I worked for, the general foreman of this job I was on, not only did they have the too much saliva lisp,
yeah,
but also drug his feet. And funniest thing of all time.
with his mouth open.
Funniest thing of all time that I've ever seen on any job site, nothing will compare. He was like almost my height, but had the tall heel in his boots.
Oh.
I'm like, why do you need to be an inch taller? You're over 6 foot.
Yeah. You're also, who are you trying to impress on the job site?
Right.
But the spit in the mouth thing is even worse when they say certain words like snack or like snack, and you hear this. Like when your tongue hits the roof of your mouth, you say snack.
You hear
it's like, and it's even more noticeable. It's like, God damn it.
It's so hard to take them seriously.
Yeah.
Like, how did you grow up with this impediment? I say that being a brain impaired
The
person.
bassist from Dead and Buried had this thing where he couldn't pronounce SHs properly, and that used to bug the shit out of me.
Huh.
Like, instead of saying dish, it'd be dish.
Whoa, I've never even heard of that before.
It's not quiche, it's quiche. It like turns the SH down into like a G or
like
a J sound.
like a ZJ.
Like zh.
That's I've never heard that before.
And we'd always call him out about it. He's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
What you guys are talking about?
Like, it wouldn't be like, it would only be like when those types of words would come up, they would come out. But
wow, that's
it was
wild.
just fucking weird.
I've never heard anyone have that before.
Yeah, it was strange. I just think he was taught how to talk wrong.
His brain broke.
You talk wrong.
You talk dumb.
Yeah. Talk like a boop, and your shit's all retarded. Yeah. Can't make movies like that anymore. But those are like the only. I'm sure I'll think of other ones later on. Noises that bother me.
Mm-hmm. This
People that constantly sniff, like, or constantly like, it's like, blow your nose. Go to the bathroom right now, blow your goddamn nose. It's annoying. Like, you don't need to do that every 2 seconds. I don't give a shit about your allergies. Go blow your nose. Come back.
It took me a while to get to that stage.
Oh.
That now I'm finally fine with either blowing my nose or if I'm outside.
Farmer Johnny it or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the job site, I'll snot rocket it and just make my life easier.
It's like, it's better than just constantly go. It's like, oh.
It annoys me.
It's like having a dog.
It annoys me to do that over and over.
Yeah.
Like my nose is uncomfortable. And speaking of being on the job, this one came up today because I was showing people my stomach yesterday.
Trying to get sexy over there?
I was telling them the story. My many tales.
Let me spin your yarn.
It took me until 33 years of life to realize at one point your belly button was your mouth.
Mm-hmm. You didn't know that?
I guess I always knew
That's
it.
how you took in sustenance in your mommy's womb.
But I never put
You never figured out, like, hey, these babies are just in this big sack of fluid. How are they not drowning?
Yeah.
You never thought about that?
No.
Yeah.
They get all oxygen and all nutrients through their belly.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fucking crazy.
Lungs and everything.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why, like, because babies are in the womb, their mouths they can open.
Yeah,
drown.
but they're not breathing.
Yeah, you're getting everything in through that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's even more crazy now that I think about it a second time. I was just thinking about eating.
Yeah.
But you're breathing out of your stomach too.
And that's why they make it a point to smack your back and everything to make sure you're breathing. Because, like, when you first come out of the womb, you don't have the natural instinct to breathe air because you've never breathed air before.
Through your mouth.
So now they got to do that to, like, kind of kickstart your lungs into pumping through your mouth and everything like that.
Yeah, supply to your brain and all that.
You're no longer taking fluid in from.
Oh my God, my mind is falling apart.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
It's wild. My mom's a biology major. It's the only reason I know half of that shit.
She should be a fucking use your mouth guard major.
Dude, yeah, this is all the shit I say about her is within the last 10 years tops. Younger Deb, she was fucking straight shooter, dude. She was always on top of the game, but yeah, that's how it works on the inside.
She's backsliding.
On the inside, dude. It's wild. It is wild. I mean, that's why you come out, they got to clean out your mouth, your nose, your ears, and all that shit because you just got, was it amniotic fluid, I think it is, all in all your shit.
Oh, man.
You're just a slimy little boy.
Yeah. Yo, when I came out, I had a full head
Did
of...
they almost cut your wiener off because they thought that was your umbilical cord?
No. I had a full head of black hair.
I had a full set of teeth.
That can't be true.
Oh, yeah, it's not true at all. It's an old wives' tale that people have been born with teeth.
I'm smoking a cigar.
I came out with a full set of teeth, full head of hair, and a voter registration card. Yeah. So I could vote for Hillary.
Of course.
But, yeah. That shit, I'm surprised you didn't know that until recently. That's funny.
I've never ever considered.
Well, you never really thought about it.
I've never ever considered it to possibly be true.
Yeah.
So there's no way.
Yeah. There's no like fucking snorkel in your mom that you can just like, take air in.
My fucking shotgun.
What? Just hoping like he fucking just sneaks in through her cooch. Like, come on, man. Maybe that's why women queef now, is just because there's no baby taking all the air out, so it's got to build up in belly. See, makes no sense, but I said it anyway.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We never even had to get the news today.
No.
But there is one more topic that I wanted to broach. Okay. That I specifically
broach away.
I saw online when I was looking for news for this very show.
For nudes.
And it made me so mad that I had to bring it to the show.
No.
I'm gonna see if you get checked out of this conversation or this if you get checked out of this plight at the same spot that I did.
Okay.
I'm on a $6,500 monthly retirement budget. 5 grocery items I can no longer afford.
$6,500
a month. That's their budget. Period.
Go like every 2 weeks. I spend about $200. What does that come out to?
Now you got $6,300 left for the rest of things, or $6,100 for the rest of things. That includes your mortgage, your bills.
You can't ask me to do all that math in my head. I got to sit down with a pen and paper.
So not including groceries, you're talking like $6,000 a month.
Oh, a month?
A month. And these are 5 grocery items they can no longer afford.
Okay.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics' most recent data found that the average expenses for people who are 65 and older were $52,000 a year. It comes to about $4,300 a month.
In groceries alone?
In everything. All expenses.
Yeah.
An estimated...
probably around there, too.
An estimated $541 a month was dedicated to all grocery purchases.
Yeah, I go every 2 weeks, spend about 2-3 max.
So your average is under
between
6, though.
4 and 6
a month. Yeah. Not all retirees earn that much money a month, while some bring in a little more. George Yang, a 60-year-old retiree, said his monthly retirement budget is approximately $6,500. His income, he said, comes from 3 sources: investment returns, pension and retirement accounts, including a Roth IRA and a 401k. Mm-hmm. While this is a bit higher than the average, certain everyday grocery items are still a bit out of his price range. That doesn't mean he never splurges on these goods, but it does mean some strategic shopping and cutbacks are necessary. Here are the top grocery items and other foods in general that Yang said he generally skips or looks for cheaper alternatives. Number 1, most expensive thing that he can't afford: organic fruits and vegetables.
All vegetables are organic.
All?
Yeah, they come from the earth. It's organic. Suck a dick.
Organic and not organic simply means that they were or were not treated with pesticides.
Grow up.
That's what that means.
You're 60 years old. Live.
You've been taking them in for 40 years already.
Yeah.
Tops.
Buzz off.
It's no secret that organic produce tends to be more expensive than non-organic, which is true because it needs to be transported faster so it doesn't spoil. It tends to be more expensive to grow and has a relatively limited supply compared to non-organic options. Because of this higher price, many retirees, including Yang, tend to skip the organic section of the grocery store. As a retiree, I need to manage my expenses for financial stability. I choose conventional over organic to save money. Organic is pricier, so I only buy when it's essential. Of course, not everything that's organic is automatically more expensive. According to the Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association, some items can actually be cheaper, though they might not all be fruits and vegetables. Organic brown rice, for example, costs about 10% less than its counterpart. But on the other hand, a head of lettuce, organic, costs about 18% more. Other organic options can be up to 134% more expensive, particularly in the meat section. And that is right
organic meat is more expensive normally.
Right into organic, grass-fed. Some of those things should be more expensive though, because it's harder to farm it and it tastes better and it's worth it. Well, anyway,
It doesn't taste any different.
I wouldn't know. Certain high-end meats is his item number 2. The cost of meat can be quite pricey depending on the cut. For those on a budget, it's generally a good idea to be strategic with the meats that end up in the shopping cart. After all, why spend a few extra dollars on a cut of meat when you could have gotten something a bit cheaper that's still good quality? Quote, premium meats like filet mignon are now rare treats. As they should be. I was about to say that. I stick to affordable options like chicken, pork, and ground beef. A pound of filet mignon Angus beef at Harris Teeter costs about $27. A pound of ground beef goes for about $5.
Yeah.
And I do like ground beef every once in a while.
I love ground beef. It's fucking fantastic.
It is. Number 3, name brand household items. The grocery store isn't just a place for food. Some stores like Walmart have entire aisles dedicated to non-food items like household cleaners and paper products, but the name brand option is sometimes too expensive. I avoid expensive cleaning products, branded paper goods, and costly toiletries, said Yang. Instead, I opt for generic or store brands.
The only pushback I'll give on that?
Toilet paper. I just had this very discussion with Kelsey about not just toilet paper, tissues.
I don't use tissues a lot because I'm not a boogery boy.
I don't use them a lot either, but I will not get cheap tissues.
Oh yeah, if I had a cold, I'm definitely getting good tissues.
I'm getting Puffs plus lotion.
Yeah.
Because when you have a bad cold and you're wiping your nose a lot,
goofy, dry, red chapped nose, fuck that.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna do anything close to that to my butthole either.
I'll go to the poorhouse before I go to the shitty ass house.
Cleaning products, though. It's not like Mr. Clean gets a special type of ammonia. It's still ammonia.
Yeah, I see the point in that, but
yeah.
I will buy a plain white bottle of bleach before I buy Clorox.
Yeah.
If they're next to each other.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, anything... Generic goods can cost anywhere between 25 and 30% less than a name brand counterpart. Yeah, we all know that. Specialty foods, number 4. Depending on where you shop, you can end up spending or saving. I would
get pushback on something like soap, though.
Yeah?
Some bars of soap fall apart instantly. You know what I mean? Like really shitty soap, but just like you put any kind of pressure on it, it goes into you're just squeezing it to death and it's gone.
It comes from less stock.
Yeah, so that's another thing I might get some pushback on.
Depending on where you shop, you can end up spending or saving a lot on groceries, but even when frequenting places like Wegmans or Whole Foods, even just avoiding specialty items can be a cost-effective measure. Mm-hmm. Specialty items including gourmet cheeses, exotic fruits, and specialty health foods that are no longer staples. I buy these for only special occasions. I don't buy cheese like that in the first fucking place.
I do, but not like specialty cheeses.
I'm not going to buy a block of it.
I mean, it's all in the name, specialty.
Right. For example, gourmet cheeses can easily cost $15 to $20 at the store. Some go for more. Retirees sticking to a budget, opting for cheeses that cost under $10 is generally better. Maybe just don't get it at all.
Stick to Swiss provolone like that and save the fancy pants shit for occasions.
I did I found a pack of Bella Gioso sharp provolone.
Yeah, it's good.
As opposed to just the standard provolone.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, so much better. I love sharp provolone.
It's great, but it's like, that's one thing, like, all right, if I had to have regular provolone, so be it. No big deal. And who's going to have one filet every month?
No. I want New York strip a lot.
Same.
But
also it's like, here's another thing when it comes to meat and stuff too, specifically beef, not the other stuff. If like filet is too expensive or Delmonico or ribeye steak is too expensive, you go ahead and get some strip. It's not as good, but it's still a really good steak. Like that's fine, but I won't lower myself to things like London broil, eye round steak, or top steak, or anything like that. I'm like, if that's my only option that week, money wise, I'll get pork and chicken.
Right.
or ground beef and be fine.
What's your opinion on sirloin?
It's fine.
Yeah.
If it's offered to me, I'll take it. I know how to prepare it, but honestly, I go strip or I go rib, and that's pretty much it.
If I'm not getting strip, I usually just don't get beef at all.
If my only option is to go below a strip, I normally I'll go without steak.
Yeah. I'll live.
I'll just go without.
The final thing.
Pork and chicken.
The final thing that they are cutting back on is pre-made meals and dining out.
Oh, yeah, duh. This whole list is like no shit.
Right. It's more expensive than buying individual ingredients. The exception sometimes when it comes to frozen meals, especially the family-sized ones from generic or store brands. When every dollar counts, the best options tend to be getting those individual ingredients rather than fully made meals. Along with that, Yang noted that he rarely goes out to eat anymore, except on special occasions. He especially avoids eating at high-end restaurants, no shit, preferring to prep and cook his own meals at home instead, no shit. This isn't unusual either. Not only is the base price of every restaurant meal generally higher than just purchasing the ingredients at the store, not always true, but you also have to think about added costs like delivery, tip, fees, service. Some restaurants or delivery apps also have purchase minimums, which can result in spending even more than intended.
Here's the thing, though, is like pre-made meals. Like I'm assuming means like frozen shit.
That is something I will not buy.
I do, because there's some nights I come home and I'm just like, I don't, because I have the eating window now. I don't have the time to make it a long, drawn out meal. So if it's like the end of my, like, I portion out stuff for me for meal prep. If it's sometimes I just, you've had grilled chicken and broccoli 3 days straight, you just like, I can't. I'll get something small in like a small frozen thing. That's fine. But here's the thing with that is like, there's generic versions of all pre-made and frozen stuff that you can get that's just as good. It's frozen food, and you don't have to, buy like the super name brand shit. Store brand is normally fine. When it comes to something like a frozen pizza, who gives a shit? This guy sounds like he's made bitches that he can't ball out every month.
Yeah.
Go out to these fancy restaurants or have these huge, like, extravagant meals. It's like, welcome to fucking real life, dude.
He's already in the top 1% of this country with a budget like that.
Yeah, it's like, some people don't get to eat red meat at all because they can only afford chicken. So it's like, you're doing fine.
Yeah,
you can't eat filet? Sad.
Sack up a little.
No one can really afford to have filet once a month.
Nor should you want to.
It's great. I love filet, but it's like, first off, it's like if you have filet every day,
at that point, it's just meat.
Yeah. It's just like, fuck out of here with that shit, you fucking whiner. Yeah. Cleaning products, doesn't matter. Go fucking generic brand. Go dollar store brands on that shit. It's fucking fine. The only thing I don't like red meat, I go for the good stuff when I can afford it. If I can't afford it, I don't get it. Toilet paper and soap. And I don't go too shitty on shampoo and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get, like, the fancy pants smells like things I've never seen in real life before. Like, girl shampoos. But I'm not going to go get, like, a generic store brand shampoo. I want something.
Need the herbal essences.
I've gone too far in life to just go back to Johnson & Johnson's No More Tears. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not balling out. Like, it's Pantene or something.
There's something comforting about that smell, though.
True. But it's just like, and the fact there's no more tears. Makes you think that one Ozzy song. But, yeah, that guy just sounds like a fucking
baby,
dude. Like,
baby-ass bitch.
Look, if that guy came from, like, money and lived, like, a rich lifestyle, and that's how he had to do his retirement, I can see why he's bitching. But if, like, did he think he was going to retire and all of a sudden just be this most baller and strapped dude at all times?
At 60, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, dude.
So
if it's that bad, go fucking...
Go back to work.
Yeah, or like go find like a beater job. Like, one of my uncles, he worked at like the local library 2 days a week. And that was enough so that he can go out and once a week go down to the Legion Hall and get beers with his friends.
Yeah.
That job paid for his beer.
Yeah, you're talking of you're talking a paycheck of like $100 or so. That's probably great.
Yeah.
That's great walking around money.
Yeah.
For a week.
Yeah, that guy sounds like a fucking whiner. I don't like him.
At what point in the article were you like, fuck this guy?
Right off the bat, when he's like, "Oh, I can't get organic vegetables," I was like, "You're not going to get any pity."
Item number 1
from me.
Mine was in the headline.
What is it?
It was the fourth and fifth word. $6,500 monthly budget.
That's more than my monthly budget.
Right. It's more than.
And I work.
It's me too. I'm
in a 2-income house.
It's more than double my monthly budget.
I'm in a 2-income house, and that's above our budget.
Yeah, fuck off, die.
And I'm fine with my budget. You're like, I make it work. I'm not eating gruel every night and wiping my ass with like sawdust. I'm all right, man. Jesus Christ.
Honestly, though, it's been a while. I think I could go for some gruel. on some toast, maybe.
Or just slopped into a plastic tray with dividers.
Yeah. Put it in the trough.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you want to get into homework?
Yeah. Because homework made me angry this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, mainly Mike.
Oh, yeah?
You did track, every week, Tom and I assign each other an album and a piece of music and a piece of comedy to report back on the following week. Sometimes
we get to start with Mike.
Sometimes it's 2 of one, 2 of the other. But normally it's 1 and 1. We also ask our guests to take part as well. Last week we had Josh, Leg 9, Steve Greathouse, and Mike Murrow on. And this is what they brought to us. I want to start with what Mike brought. Because he did preface it by saying it was hard to find.
Yeah, he did.
It was the Yek tapes.
Yek.
The compilation on YouTube. It's a normal sized compilation record.
Even the way he described how to find it was convoluted.
Yes. Yeah, seriously. It was like a fucking treasure map.
He was
so this whole comp, I think it's like the real thing is probably about like I'd say 12 artists.
Yeah, I think it is.
But the way there was no playlist anywhere to be found to where it's all grouped together.
That's one of my notes.
We did find it, but we found it today. And
it was last night.
I'm like, I don't have the time to go back into this.
We found it within the last 24 hours.
So I only found
it.
1, 2.
You said we found like 4, right?
5.
Okay.
I found 5 of these groups. So I'm going to break it down of those 5 bands. The first band I found was I just called them the Letter Salad Band. Starts with an A and has a shitload of letters after it, and it's really long. Do you want to attempt to pronounce it? I know you found that one. That's the first one we found. It was like Urshaburbadir.
I don't even remember because when I found the finished product, like the entirety comp, I listened to it, and I had one of my notes is that there are no track timestamps on the video.
It's all in the comments or the description of the video.
It wasn't in the description.
The artists were listed.
The artists were there. But I don't know when a track started and ended.
Yeah, because I only knew that because I watched them individually on YouTube. You had to search for it. The first one I found was the Letter Salad Band. Mm-hmm. It's kind of chill, decent enough listen. Just kind of sounds like B movie soundtrack, but not like B action horror sci-fi, but B like
just B,
like a regular like B movie, but like a drama or something like that. I gave it a 4. It was fine. Then I found Johnny Hazard, and my review is C above review, but add accordion, still a 4. And then I found this band Et Vilsted. It's ETHVILST.
I saw that 7-inch in Dave's house.
Checks out. I just put Dungeon Synth meets Forest Disco.
Fucking sweet.
Hard 0. It stunk. Then I found a band called, or quote unquote band, Memphis 10 SC. Oh, I get it. Memphis, Tennessee. But it's spelled Memphis, the city, then 10, the number, then SC. 10 SC.
Wow.
Memphis. Wow, dude. Okay,
that bumps it up to a 30.
I just put this is nothing but eyeball movie clips, gave it a 0. But now that I figured out the fun they have with the name, it's a 26.
Exactly.
And finally, I found a group called Locoon. More ambient, kill yourself in a bathtub music, but like ironical.
Yeah.
1 out of 10. The first bands were fine, like background chill music, okay, but
they were.
But it wasn't worth the hunt.
No, the juice was not worth the squeeze. If I had all
this in one place at one time, I'd probably feel differently. But the fucking hunt was just obnoxious. My final thing is it says "Eat a dick, Mike."
I said some of the Tribes Tape YouTube page, of which a Bandcamp exists, containing dozens of artists and not one straight-through copy of this comp.
Nope.
In shock of the century, not one single name I recognize on the hour-and-a-half long comp.
I kind of like that.
No track timestamps on the video, but I was still doing the robot sometimes. I said, I don't know what the fuck is going on for most of this, but it was big chill AF to have on in the background while we're doing research for this pod. I was using it to listen to last night. Only reason I turned it off was to listen to the badass rainstorm that started at 8:45 last night. And I was asleep. Nice. I was asleep by like 9:15.
Did you know that it was so dark out that you couldn't see out a window?
Get the fuck out of here.
Right? I just found that out. Some lady told me.
I listened to the I listened to the whole comp hour and a half 2 times. I must have been in the exact right mood. I don't know why, but I think it put a hex on me. And I found the first song that I didn't like at the 55-minute mark. And after that, it did get a little Alice in Wonderlandy. But I think it kind of goes with the whole trying to fucking find the thing. So I gave it question mark out of 10.
I've given a question mark out of 10 a few times.
Right.
Other stuff.
The first half of the comp was mad chill, and I actually enjoyed it a lot, especially at night getting tired.
But that one band was just nothing but movie clips. It was that Memphis, Tennessee band. And you're just like, all right, so it's just movie dialogue.
Yeah, I was like, what?
There was no beat, no music.
What? I'm like, what gives, man?
So it was like a sample. It was just a bunch of clips thrown together. I was like, this is what?
What was that joke thing that Matt put together one time?
No, I forget. I know what you're talking about, though.
Did he or you assign me that for homework once?
He did.
Okay.
And he didn't tell anybody about it, but
until
I rode
after.
Back to my house with him that night, and he informed me that it was something he just came up on his own. Because I got suspicious because all the movie clips he used was stuff that he and I constantly quote. So, like, that's convenient. And he's like, yeah, it was me. I made this. It's not a real thing. I forget what it was called, though.
I don't remember.
I'll have to ask him.
Let's go to Steve's.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start with his homework, or his comedy homework. Steve assigned us K. Trevor Wilson's Sex Cop Fire Penis.
Great title.
Yeah, it was. And then I was expecting it to be one thing, but it was a couple premises put together. Hey baby, to most girls I just give the clap, but you get a round of applause.
That was clever.
Was really good. His Cosby was shockingly really good. And I also thought the fire story was fucking awesome. But did anyone else notice the loud as fuck girl? As if she was as if he was talking to her during like the 3/4 mark of that premise. This girl was like doing she thought he was doing like a call and response to her. And I'm like, that if there's one thing that'll ruin any show is somebody not just making it about them, but like just interacting for no like.
Yeah. Like when like you hear people and they're like, yeah, I do that. And you're like, shut up,
the fuck up. Or I'm going to lock you in a box. And what was my other note? Oh, and the penis game story. Oh my God. So good. But something about like his delivery style or something like there's multiple funny things in this. And I went like twice. Mm-hmm. but I don't know whether to give it like a 4 or a 5 because the premises were freaking great, but it just didn't like. At first I thought it wasn't doing anything for me.
The premise could be great, but if you don't fucking hit the right mark on the premise, you just brought up something amusing. You
right.
Make a joke. I just put leave me alone text message. I just put mildly amusing. This guy sounds like Stone Cold. 4. Because the same thing. Yeah, it was entertaining, but I was just like, and that's it.
Right.
But the whole time, like, I can't. You know what it made me think of was, remember that old internet videos of Stone Cold E.T.?
Boy, do I.
I kept thinking of him going like, "This is Stone Cold E.T."
And I want a couple cheeseburgers and some fries, and that's the bottom line.
And I kept looking at my phone to see if this was Stone Cold E.T. doing it.
Wow,
but
he does sound like that guy.
But it was actually a guy who looks a lot like me.
He does sound like Stone Cold E.T.
It's Stone Cold E.T. I just gave it a 4. It was amusing, but good premises, but just no punch.
I love Stone Cold E.T.
What number do you give Stone Cold E.T.?
Stone Cold E.T.?
Yeah, what number of grade do you give
700.
There you go. 700 club, dude. Musically.
He tried to give us each one record per, but I listened to both also.
This is really simple.
Same.
Yeah.
My notes are, yup.
Forced Order, One Last Prayer, and Vanish Crusade. I just put this band as a love letter to Cleveland. One Last Prayer gets a 7. Crusade gets an 8. It's great. I mean,
I give them both a 9. I love this band so much.
I just love it that the Clevo sound comes in cycles.
I think it's so interesting.
A lot of bands were doing what was happening, like the Holy Terror shit in the mid early aughts. That it was a big thing. It was a pretty big thing, and a lot of good stuff came out of it. Then there was like a resurgence around, like, I'd say like 2014, 2015, when like all those like guys who used to be in youth crew bands were just like, hey, it's okay for us to throw some solos and some double bass in here every once in a while. Hey, you know what? Ringworm's a pretty good band. And and it always like, those are the kids that are like, it was like they've kind of got their head out of the ass of like American Nightmare and Youth of Today, and they're like, these other
straight
bands
ahead,
are pretty cool too. And that's kind of what this reminds me of. I'm not saying that's what this band did because I don't know anything about them. I know I was familiar with the band, but I don't know where they come from or what their thing is. But it's very good. They're very good records.
They are from.
Go ahead.
They are from Southern California.
Vanish Crusade was my favorite of the two, but they're both very enjoyable records.
One Last Prayer gets more plays from me. I don't know why. And it's the. I think it's the newer one.
I think it was the other way around. I might be wrong. I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. I'm stupid as shit.
I remember when Forced Order broke with their demo / first release, Eternal War. Nobody could shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, who the fuck is this fucking band?
Yeah.
At that time when they were coming around, I was like, who the fuck is this band with this Eternal War shit? And the guitar player of Crosscheck was one of the people who posted it, and I was like, all right, somebody close to me is blowing it too. Maybe it is good. And I listened to it and I was like, holy fucking shit. I
said that on here a million times, like 30,000 people be like, this band's great, and everything you should listen to it. I was like, leave me alone.
Right.
But then it takes like one person who's, like taste I trust, but like, no, check it out. And you're like, all right, okay, now I will.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, I should have not been an ass.
They come from Southern California and they're adjacent to like the young bands from out there. So I was like, is it going to be just another young sounding band? Not at all.
That's wild that something that good comes out of California.
Yeah, and the bands that were coming out and huge at that time were like young bands like Twitching Tongues, Soul Search, and I was like, I wonder, it's nothing really like any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Forced Order, always have.
That's good, yeah. Do you want to get into what Josh brought us?
Sure.
Local H, As Good as Dead. This is a band whose name I've been familiar with for many, 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 many years. But they were always lumped in with those really the generation after the grunge boom.
Yep.
Like the grunge boom, like the OGs of that genre were really good. But then, like with any type of like sound or scene, when it gets big, about 2 years after it breaks, you get a lot of watered down versions of those bands. There's still good stuff that comes out, but most of it's like a watered down version, or like this is how the Midwest thinks Seattle sounds like type shit.
This is one of my
Local
notes.
H came out like post, like
this record
the
was
grunge era,
yeah.
also like because it was I don't think the same era, like the grunge era. Then you like the Sub Pop Records era.
The grunge
stuff.
That heyday was 91, 92.
Yeah, till about like 94.
This record was 96.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, that whole genre and like early Sub Pop and early grunge just kind of like jumped the shark at that point. I was like, this, I'll pass on this. And so I've always just put it off. And like the only reason I was thinking about lately is because they're opening for Helmet on the Helmet's upcoming tour. So and like they've toured with Helmet numerous times. I'm like, maybe I should just shut up. And I always been meaning to do it. And then thankfully Josh was like assigned it, so I was forced to do it. So let me get to shut up and get to the point. This sounds like heavier Lemonheads, and honestly, I'm fucking down for that. Solid drumming, good riffing. The lyrics are a bit goofy, but it can't all be raisins. You know what I mean? It's a pretty cool record. I enjoyed it. Some of the lyrics are just like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Because there's also a thing back in that day where bands lyrically, they just threw words and sentences, like they just made up sentences that had made no sense, but that was like the cool thing to do. A lot of Nirvana lyrics are like that. Like these
nonsense.
Mean nothing. And I hate that. But honestly, I gave it a 7. It was pretty cool, and I like the fact I was reading because I was listening to it on YouTube, but also when they do the playlist of the full album, the songs that have music videos with it, they'll have the video play in the playlist and shit. So I was watching one while I was taking a dump, and it's a 2-piece. I was like, that's interesting.
Huh.
It's a drummer and a guitar player. I was like, there's no bass player at all. That's interesting. But then there's some songs I hear bass. Or something that sounds like bass. But I was looked it up later on. I was just going into the one, like, what's this band's all about? And they just, decided just to go 2-piece. They had basses before. But what the guitar player does is one of the pickups on his guitar is a bass pickup.
Oh, okay.
And it also has a separate input.
What's his name? Andy from Weekend Nachos did that a couple times.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Fucking sweet.
So that kind of made it even like a little more interesting. Like, yeah, other than the goofy lyrics, I enjoyed this record. 7.
I said the first 5 minutes of this record hit like a fever dream. I never knew the actual name of that song, Bound to the Floor.
Yeah.
That you just don't get it. Keep it copacetic. I've said this record just kind of
on every TV show for a hot while.
Yeah. I said that the record just reminds me of like Diet Nirvana, and it has a couple of cool hard driving tracks like I Saw What You Did, something.
Yeah.
Nothing Special was okay, and then the song Back in the Day just got on my fucking nerves, and some of the song
some are just goofy.
Some of the songs were really solid, but like I cannot get over songs like you said with nonsensical lyrics or that just get on my nerves. I give it like a 3.
Like when they are nonsensical, if the music more than makes up for it, or you really can't make out the lyrics anyway, it's kind of like, who cares?
Right.
But this guy's delivery is pretty upfront, so it's like it's unavoidable. You can't really just overlook it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, this is goofy, but musically I enjoyed it. It definitely had like a later grunge era meets Sub Pop Records type shit.
I definitely thought Sub Pop listening to it.
I am actually excited to see them live.
You'll probably like it.
Yeah. The next thing he gave us was Voyager, but spelled without any consonants. Which thanks for not taking up too much of my time.
Vowels, you mean?
Did I say consonants? I'll go fuck myself. It's a self-titled record.
Yeah. I'll start.
Go ahead.
First song had a good 2 minutes, and I was thinking this would be a cool instrumental band, and I was actually sad when the vocals kicked in. had fat ass riffs. It's actually musically like cool as shit.
Yeah.
And I was still, even with the vocals, it was still able to put me in a chill ass mood. Not bad at all. I gave it a 6. I listened to it on the way to work, and it was like the perfect setting. 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Ever want to listen to something atmospheric but also put up some weights at the gym? The opening of the first song, I was thinking, oh, cool, it's going to be like an Agalock type band.
Uh-huh.
And then double bass and chugs kicked in. It was unexpected, but I didn't hate the mix. Great production and the proper balance of build and payoff in the songs. I will seek out other releases. I gave it a solid 8. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It was pretty fucking solid assignment, I gotta say.
And like perfect length of song, but still they managed to have like a good amount of build. And then when it finally paid off, it was just, they nailed it. It was really good. I would definitely be checking out other shit. Now you brought me a special that I had watched numerous times. Keith Robinson's Different Strokes, which is on Netflix. I got into it last episode when we were setting up talking about it. I love Keith Robinson as a fucking Tough Crowd fanboy, forever. He's one of my favorites, but it's just great that he actually now has up-to-date material. Because the last thing I think he did was Back of the Bus, which I want to say was maybe 2008.
No, it was 15 or 16 or 17.
Was it? I thought it was way older than that.
Yep, it's on Amazon.
But it's weird because, like, I honestly think the Stroke made it better. This is better than that to me.
It was so much better.
It's more mature. Like, yeah, it's still like, dirty humor and shit, but it's like it's better written. It's more mature material. It's not like fuck bitches. It's not like, it's actually like a real life shit. Like, it's great that he came back after such a long time of not having anything.
Yeah, man.
Also after having 2 strokes, and it's such a vast improvement over something that was already great.
I on a boner pill in the sky.
Yeah, the whole, I don't want to give away the story, but the story about how he got his stroke was fucking hysterical.
The way he onset his second stroke is just so
it's
fucking
insane.
And weirdly, it's so New York comic of him.
My favorite part
about
of the whole thing is when he talks about when he drops his cane.
Yes, and somebody has to come pick it up.
It was Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
And he's like, "White bitch, pick up my cane." He's like, "Yes." And he's like, the crazy. He's like, talk about like live stand-ups. Like the craziest things can go wrong sometimes, and then his cane just falls over. He's like, "See, there you go," and just like that, just like how he just stopped and just like, there you go, like that is, he's fucking great. I'm glad that he's back. Like obviously he's not going to be cutting up too much because he's really in bad shape because of the strokes, but it's also great to see him back and on Netflix where people that have only like people that have followed like the black comedy scene and then people that are diehard stand-up fans know who Keith Robinson is.
Specifically, diehard New York seller comic fans.
Or people that like the black circuit and stuff. He's huge on that too.
Oh.
Like the South and up to East Coast, like that, he's fucking like a made man there too. But it's like, this is a chance for the casuals to check him out too.
You know what else too?
What?
OG Philly guy.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just great that like he didn't come back on like a YouTube special or like some other thing. Yeah, he came back on the streaming network.
He got a red carpet rollout for a great special.
And as much as Schumer is a fucking hack, it is sick that like she flexed her muscles to get him a Netflix special.
It's the first cool thing she's done in a long time.
Because she owes her career to that guy. He's the one who brought her up and put her on and everything. And now it's like, that's cool that she finally gave back like that. That's fucking sick.
He's the reason she was at the table in the cellar.
And I'm glad that another generation of comedy fans is going to know who Keith Robinson is.
Deservedly so.
I hope it's just not another
God damn, he's funny.
long time before his next one pops. It's a 10 special for me.
Fuck yeah, same.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It came out a week after Feinstein's special did on Netflix, and it fucking smoked it.
Which sucks because they're friends.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, great friends.
Yeah.
He was at her wedding and shit.
Yeah. They used to have a podcast. It was like Keith and the Girls or something. And it was like him, Amy Schumer, Rachel Feinstein, and I think Marina Franklin.
Huh.
Yeah, but it didn't last. Like it was over before COVID, because I think honestly it's when Schumer went out to California. It's just like it's done. But you also brought me a demo of a band I never heard of that has a great name, Kevlar Upper. Mm-hmm. This is pretty short. This is that shit I do like. Guerrilla music for gorillas trying to gorilla smash the gorilla state. 10 out of 10. Band definitely plays Clash of Clans. This shit rules.
It does rule.
It's scratch the itch of heavy, angry, fast.
Great name.
Great name.
Great record label.
Yep. I don't know anything about the record label, but I'll be keeping an eye out on it now.
I cannot fathom the fact that you have never heard of Iron Lung Records.
I mean, I've probably heard many things they've put out. I just don't know that it's them.
I bet you have.
I don't really pay attention to labels anymore, just because I'm not a physical release collector anymore. When I was a physical release collector,
different story.
And you go over like your CD, your record, your tape, and you see like the emblem of the label, it sticks out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't it funny how?
But now that I'm purely digital, I don't have that in my face anymore, so it's easy for me to overlook the label.
Isn't it funny how a record label can be used as like the headliner descriptor of a band you've never heard?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I've never heard XYZ band. Oh, they sound like an ABC Records band, and then you know immediately what I'm talking about.
I've brought it up many times. The label that I total stand for, Relapse.
I thought you were going to say Back to Basics.
I love Back to Basics, but it's not all great.
But isn't it a descriptor of the sound though?
No.
Okay.
He was a pretty equal opportunity guy.
Okay.
Relapse isn't also a sound. It's more like the barometer of quality you're getting into when you're like, when you say someone say, oh, it's a Relapse band. It's like, okay, it's something that's not just basic, but it doesn't mean that you're going to like it, but it's going to be something interesting to you.
Weekend Nachos is a Relapse band. Speaking of Andy,
is that your new autism? Weekend Nachos?
It is today, I guess.
They take over Sugarbog. Now it's Weekend Nachos.
I suppose they did today.
But it's just I loved it. It used to be like the labels, like when you would go out and buy like new shit, like you had never like before the internet was really prevalent, and you can just go check out a song online. If you would just go to a record store and see like a certain label's crest on the back of a release, you're like,
that's a good one.
I'm more willing to put out my money for this CD, record, tape.
Right.
You're like, you're willing to take that chance. It used to be Victory.
Right, the Bulldog.
But then, all of a sudden Victory just shit that bed.
Boy, howdy.
Relapse is like one of the few labels that I would check out everything that comes across that label still to this day. I don't get pick and choose. I'm not always into it, but I trust it. It's a name you trust.
Yeah.
It's nice to have labels like that. But Iron Lung, I'm sure I've heard other bands on the label, but I just didn't know that's who it was. Like, I'm sure if I look at their Discog, I've probably got a few thousand things they put out, but
yeah, it
is what it is.
I'll get into mine.
I really liked it though. Thank you for showing me that.
I'll get into mine then.
You go for it.
I'll volley right over to music then. We were just talking about it. You tried to attempted to assign me Several Cocks Underground Reality, but I discovered that you can't find that.
I found it on SoulSeek.
Anyway, of course you did.
I didn't even look on Spotify or any of that shit.
Or YouTube or Google.
It's on YouTube, but you gotta. It's like
it's not.
It's like the comp that fucking dickhead put out.
Once I realized you can't find Underground Reality on the traditional internet.
That's my bad.
Dennis uses the Tor web. This turned into an assignment for Muerte Lente.
Tor web?
Which
What's that?
It's called like the Onion Network or something. It's the dark web. Oh. It's where you find the Silk Road. You have to. Oh, it's a browser that you have to like pirate, and it's very hard to get. Oh. And it's extremely illegal.
It's like the Zambian meat website.
Yeah. And since we've already listened to Muerte Lente together on this very show.
Did you watch the live set I sent too?
No. Because I was driving to work. But on their Facebook page, I did find photos of them with Sabrina Sabrok, so they get a good grade yet again.
What's that?
She is an adult film star, and she looks like that.
That's not a real person.
It is.
No one's face is that unblemished.
I suggest looking.
It's all one color.
I suggest looking into her catalog.
I don't like those gigantic fake tits.
I sure do. I sure don't mind them one bit.
It does nothing for me.
So I gave it a question mark out of 10 because I can't hear it.
Yeah, that was my bad, dude.
But let me get into Andy Huggins, the king of one-liners. It was his Don't Tell set.
Very boastful.
Well, he left nothing on the table for the being old opening jokes. I even love his kind of like deaf guy lisp that he has because he's old.
It sounds like it's hard for him to open his mouth all the way.
Yeah. I worry about walking, so I wear a helmet. I'm also worried about I also worry about looking ridiculous, so I carry a skateboard. Fucked me up.
In a preface, this guy is 80.
Yeah. The be anywhere in 4.5 hours callback also shows that he knows when a good callback is funny.
Also, a callback in a 10-minute set.
Wow. Lady told me she was into discipline, so I made her go stand in the corner. And I love when older people can keep up with current vernacular, like nah or YOLO.
Oh, the YOLO fucking caught me off guard.
Yes, it did.
That caught me off guard so much.
Exactly. I wrote the note because he went nah, but the YOLO cemented it. I think beyond the novelty that he's really old, he's legitimately a hilarious stand-up.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I want to see anything more than like a 20 or 30 minute product of his, but he was fucking
that
funny.
Type of material, yeah, you want to keep it short.
He was so fucking funny. That's a 10 for me. I dying, dude.
I tried that face aging software
and it said
nah, you're good.
Exactly.
My favorite thing about it was also the very last joke. I just paid off my student loan.
Yes.
Thanks. I'm Andy Huggins. You guys were great.
that was a solid.
Like that. It's just I just paid off my student loans. That's the joke, and you're just like, fuck, dude. Fuck. The thing is, like, when I found the wormhole, he has a bunch of other shit up online. It's like just quick, like 2 and 5 minute appearances and stuff. I can't, like, he says he's been doing it for like 40 some years.
Right. There's got to be a big gap in there.
So I'm trying to find young him. I know it's harder to find, but I just want to see what his material was when he was in his prime. You know, he didn't have the crutch of being old, but right now, Jesus Christ, dude.
I have a sneaking suspicion that he's been doing it for 40 years, like the way a lot of old people have done something for 20 years, in that
I looked into it.
He did it a long time ago and then took a 39-year gap.
I looked into him. He is not an Austin comic, a Houston comic. But
oh yeah, he did mention that he's from Houston.
But he never left Houston. So if you're in like the Houston scene or like the Houston clubs, you know who this guy is and you've been seeing him for decades. If you're outside of Texas, you've never seen him. You've never heard of him. So he's like one of those quote unquote greatest comedians you've never heard of type things. Where like, because there's a lot of guys who are great were in this area, but they don't leave this area. They kind of stick to the same club, and that hurts them that like they don't get their name out more. But back in when this guy started, is like you found a club where you can get up every night, and that was enough. It was a steady job. You know, you didn't really fight to get anything. Maybe one late night appearance, but it wasn't like it is now. Mm-hmm. It's just a different beast. There's some of those comics that never left New Jersey, except for maybe to occasionally go over to New York to do sets.
Like a Florentine?
Like a Florentine or a Pepitone or Russ Maneve and Bob Levy and shit like that. It's like, and that's why like they're
by the wayside.
Kind of a hack.
Yeah.
But not, some of them are better than others. Like occasionally, like their whole idea of like what to strive for is, hey, maybe I can get to go on Stern.
Yeah.
And then that's as far as they ever think about going. They don't have ambition or drive. So, and I think this guy is kind of the same thing, but it's just fucking hilarious that I just want to know what his material is like when he didn't have the crutch of being old to fall back on.
Yeah, that
I
makes me
assume he's still
curious
funny
too.
because he is legit funny.
Yeah.
And it's a great set. I'm just interested to see old him. But the stuff he has up now is fucking great. He's awesome. But everybody from like the local scenes are talking about him. I actually ended up falling into a Reddit hole in him. And they're talking about how great he is. But yeah.
That's awesome.
That chick's fucking face bothers me.
She doesn't look like that in film either.
When her skin's like all the same shade, that's just weird.
She is also Argentinian. She does not look like that,
Man, you're that pale?
in film.
Fuck off.
I mean,
Get outta here.
Argentinians are pale.
You're pale.
I am.
Not really.
No, I'm not. I'm very.
You're a nice little chest.
Look at my tan line
You're a
from
nice
my
little
watch.
shade of chestnut. What do you got for me this week?
I just found a special from 2015 on YouTube. It's from a comic that maybe rightfully so gets a bad rep, especially in the culture that we live in these days, but is an undeniably hilarious comic.
Is it Nick Dipaolo?
It is Nick Dipaolo.
Nice.
And the special is called Another Senseless Killing.
Oh, yeah.
It is now on YouTube. I
saw this when it came out. I honestly don't remember much about it.
I will say there are about 2 like lulls, but he handles it.
Yeah, the guy's a professional, and he's so fucking funny that the recent, and he's always kind of been an edgelord.
Yeah,
but now it's just like, God damn it, dude, you're making it hard for me to stay in love with your comedy. He's gone from being like a real line straddling, like a boundary pushing hilarious comedian to like being like racist.
Yes.
Like flat out racist. And I was like, there's no humor anymore behind the racism. You know,
this special came out in 15 right around the time when Anthony was fired from O&A.
Oh, so he probably has a lot to say about that.
No.
Or cancel culture and all that horse shit.
No, he does not.
Thank God.
I won't spoil anymore, but he does not do that. But
him on Tough Crowd, Jesus Christ.
But I think after, I don't know what special he has put out after this, if any.
There's a recent one.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe right before COVID. And I don't think I got through it because it was a lot of this. Yeah, you know, pulling your collar like, uh-oh.
That bad, huh? But it might be a little dated, but anyway.
I'll check it out anyway.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Musically, I have a band that I discovered in the like the similar artists to kind of thing. The band is called Gutfed. Not gutted, Gutfed.
I saw them on one of the YouTube pages I follow.
I
haven't had a chance to listen to it yet.
The
Go ahead.
album is called The Reign of Pure Madness and Contagious Perversion. You can just type in The Reign of Pure Madness.
Yeah, that's what I was planned on doing. But yeah.
Yeah. Won't spoil it. Just go in.
Yeah, it definitely came up on, I don't know if it was the Gore Grinder or the Death Madness or one of those, but it came up on one of them. I just haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Mm-hmm. Musically, your assignment is, the band's called Hellburst, one word. Now, this is where it gets a little difficult. The album is called Chomo Lungma.
Oh.
Well, you know what that word means? I have no clue. I know what a Chomo is.
It's
CHOMO
LUNGMA.
Yeah. What is it? Do you know what it is?
I don't, but I've seen it before.
Yeah. I found it similar to one of the YouTube pages I follow. That's where I found out about that. And I enjoyed it. This isn't a special. It's an album. It's a comedy album by my favorite guy in the entire world, Jim Norton. Brand new. Gender Reveal Disaster. It is on YouTube. If you can't find it on the other shit, I can send it to you. But That's what I brought to you. It is an album. Why people are doing albums and not he's doing albums and not specials?
Because he's a fucking antiquated idiot.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it, dude.
Just you have to stand up in front of a crowd anyway. Just fucking throw an iPhone up.
His,
if need be.
While I'm on the subject of Jim Norton, his Instagram is fantastic. I love the stand-up clips he posts because it's him bombing.
Yeah, I love that he posts them. I love that he posts those.
Like he posts them and then he'll like, you know, like the joke would always like, all right, you know, like that. Yes. Or it's like ones where he says something like you know,
I feel like I'm talking to my wife.
Or he's like, I don't know why I had to say it like that. Like, Jesus Christ, Jim, you've been doing this amount of time. You're a fucking idiot. And he just gets into it. It's. I love that he posts that instead of him just killing.
Yeah.
It's just him making an ass of himself. And it's just fucking great.
I love that he leans into it, man. Yeah. I love everything he does.
That's my guy, dude.
What time you got there?
8:15.
All right.
Why, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Because my butt hurts.
Yeah, I got a shower.
I know that's right. See everybody next week.
Yeah. Toodles, like someone says.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love you more than I can say. I love you twice as much tomorrow. Love you more than I can say. Oh, yeah, yeah. I miss you every single day. Why must my life be feel so low? I love you more than I can say. Thank you.